There are some of you who say that you've got everything together and that you're secure within yourself. And when you're by yourself, you're fine, but the minute you get into a relationship, you all unhinged and crazy. Y'all know what I mean. Miss Independent is fine until Miss Independent gets a boo. Mr. Everything is everything to himself until he gets a baby. All of a sudden, when you get involved in that relationship, all of a sudden you can't do anything without this person. Now, don't get me wrong. I have no problem with people getting together and making the most of a relationship and including each other in their lives. I have no problem with that. You're growing, you're working together, you're seeing a future as we instead of I, and it's a good thing. But when you turn around and lose everything mentally as far as your independence and everything and just throw all your energies into that other person, that's a recipe for a disaster, and I'm going to tell you why. That person was attracted to you because of what you had to offer. Whatever reason it was. You know, there could be something in your personality, the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, your intelligence, whatever the case may be. I'm not talking about those materialistic situations because they don't count in my book. But I'm talking about you as a person. They were attracted to you because of that. They wanted to get with you because of that. And when they get with you and you turn around and you do not display those qualities anymore, that's creating a sense of uneasiness in that person because they're going to think that you were just trying to fake it to make it. They're not going to believe that's a part of you. So their attraction to you is going to diminish. There are a lot of you right now, you know, you're in situations and you're wondering why your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend is not paying as much attention to you as they used to. You're not doing the things that you used to do together anymore. You're not spending time together. You're not communicating the way you used to. And a lot of situations with you guys is because you are not acting or presenting yourself the way that you did when they first met you. Now, I mentioned in previous audios, whatever you use to get them, you got to use to keep them, and that's the truth. Just because you get somebody doesn't mean you have to just let the reins down. That doesn't mean you have to put the lid on the pot. It doesn't mean you have to close the door. It doesn't mean you have to flip the switch. No, if anything, you've got to work harder. See, some of y'all have this mixed up. You're going overboard and doing overtime to try to get the attention of somebody, but once you get the attention of that person, the work is over because you feel you've gotten what you've needed to get. But little do you realize is that your work is just beginning. Because now that you have the full intention of this person, you're going to have to keep it. And I know this sounds like a lot of work, but you know, anything worth having in this world is worth working for. There's nothing wrong with work. Work is not a bad word. You can enjoy working for something. And that's the problem with a lot of you. So if you turn around and get involved in a relationship, and I could say this speaking from my standpoint, how many of you have turned around and gotten involved in a relationship with someone because there was something about them that you were attracted to, and then you finally got with them and you thrilled, and all of a sudden whatever it was that you was attracted to them for, it disappeared the minute that you declared yourself to them? How would you feel? The first thing that would come to mind is you will question it because you'll be like, well, was that the real person? Or was them just putting their A game forward to get me? Some of you, that's okay. But the problem is, see, I'm the type of person, I want to know what I'm dealing with. And don't get me wrong, I understand the dating game. I understand that sometimes we got to gussy ourselves up and put our best foot forward. But if it's to the point where you're being a totally different person and you're being fake, that's a problem. There's nothing wrong with taking what you have and presenting the package as nicely as possible to attract a mate. I get that. That's nature. Animals do it. I get that. But what you're doing is you're enhancing the package you already have. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm talking about the people that just take on a totally different persona, totally different attitude, speak different than everything else just to get the attention of someone. And then the minute they get them, they turn into somebody else. That's what I'm talking about. And then they have the nerve later on down the line to complain about the fact that their intended doesn't give them the attention that they got in the beginning. It's because they they don't have what they got in the beginning. They're reacting differently. Yes, they switched up on you. And I mentioned that in my audio about switching up. One of the reasons why people switch up, they switch up because the circumstances have changed. We're natural creatures, and we have the ability to adapt our situations. And when the situation changes, then our actions are going to change. Our thought processes are going to change. And it's the same with the relationships. So those of you that are using this bait and switch thing with relationships, don't get involved in serious relationships. Just do it for dating, and then when the time runs out, go to the next person. But don't do it for serious relationships, because that person that you're involved with obviously has more serious intentions than you have. Just saying.